Can you hear the breathing? If you don't own this album, you need to own it. It's amazing. Can you guys hear the music? Weird. Okay. All right, here we go, guys. We are live. Can you hear me now? I think you guys heard my vocals, but shame if you didn't hear that music because it's freaking great. But can you hear me? Okay, I had to turn off the delay. So yeah, got you guys in here. Wow, 181 watching. Thank you so freaking much, guys. That's insane. Before we get going, there's like a 30-second delay here, so let me know if you can hear me just fine. I'm thinking you can, and the reason I'm asking that is because I just it seems like when I mute YouTube, then so I think you guys would have heard that music if I did. I don't know. I have no idea what I'm doing right now. But all I know is I got 174 of you here, give or take, and did not expect that at all. I expected maybe a couple, but no. So yeah. Anyway, let's go down. We got Corey Dillingham, Badass Ninja. Daniel Hammond, Michael Pavone. What's up, Michael? Thank you for that letter. Robert Shaw, Jeffrey Betterton, Wade Dillon, Blurry Face. What's up, Fluff? Fluff, I hope to see you in Spooky Empire, man. And Anto W, Theo. What's up, Theo? William Weaver. Lot of beautiful, beautiful people in the chat. That is awesome. Wow. So, I guess the reason I wanted to do this is because tomorrow's the big day. Tomorrow is the day. I mean, it's finally here. And I'll start fielding questions here pretty soon, but just to take you guys back, I mean, wow, January of 2015, I started my channel. My wife pushed me to do it. I did it. And I remember like almost the month or within the month I started, there was a Halloween update for Halloween Returns to be directed by Marcus Nispel, to be directed by Marcus Dunstan and written by Marcus and Patrick Melton. And I remember I was doing all those updates, and then I started reviewing the Halloween franchise. But while I was doing all that, I never thought, I was like, this movie's, it's just gonna be like Friday the 13th. They're gonna gain some momentum, and then it's just gonna die a horrible death, like a lot of the, because they've even done this with Nightmare on Elm Street. They start getting some momentum, and then they're just freaking gone. But I mean, it's fast forward 3 years now, and we're here, and it's just insane. And like the way this should be playing out is, we would get a movie eventually, but there wouldn't be this type of hype around it, And I was just watching, just flipping through YouTube, and I watched this recent interview. I think it just dropped today with John Carpenter and Jason Blum. And John Carpenter was, actually Jason Blum was saying that if they wanted to buy the property, but he didn't want to do it unless John Carpenter did it. He didn't want to do it unless they wanted to make a great movie. And so when Blumhouse approached John Carpenter, I'm sure they expected Carpenter to say, no, thanks, but no thanks. That's the famous line that Carpenter always says when, because they've asked him a million times to come back, and he always says, no, thanks, but no thanks. And I literally just found out today why Carpenter took it. And it's so simple, which is kind of funny because Halloween's so simple. But he said, I want to make a kick-ass Halloween movie. I want to make a great movie. I don't want to do this unless we're making a great movie. And when Jason Blum said that, John Carpenter said, okay, now you have my attention. Because never in the past, even when they did H2O, they said, hey, it's 20 years. Let's do something nice for the fans. Never did they say, to John Carpenter anyway, let's make a great Halloween movie. Let's forget all the, the anniversary type stuff and all. Let's make a great movie. And that's what got his attention. So Carpenter was just, thrilled. And then they pitched the idea to him. And the rest is history. So this is history. I mean, 85% on the tomato meter. This is the highest rating a Halloween movie's had since the first, I think. And I don't even think the first was getting that great of reviews when it first came out in 78. It gained momentum, word of mouth. But I mean, they've really just nailed every marketing beat that they could possibly imagine doing this movie. As a Halloween fan, this is just like Christmas. And when you're like Christmas, you ask for this, and this, and you expect to get two of those things. I feel like I have all of those things so far. I haven't seen the movie yet, but the reviews sound like they're great. Everything seems like it's lining up, and this could be a great, great fucking movie. So I am super stoked, and I figured, hey, I'm going tomorrow night. When are you guys going? Let me know in the chat. But I'm going tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. I already have my ticket pre-ordered, all that, and I'm shaking right now just thinking about sitting in that theater. It's going to be the biggest theater the biggest screen in the theater too. And just the thought of sitting in that seat and hearing that music, play. And, I've talked to some people that they say this is the first Halloween movie they've ever seen in the theater. And that really just gets me, like even more excited, like, wow. Because I don't know if it's just being a massive fan of the franchise or just Halloween in general, but there's something about seeing Myers on the big screen. I don't know, there's just something so cool that with that music and the atmosphere, and even better when I saw 4 in the theater, seeing Loomis on the big screen with Michael, like Donald Pleasance Loomis, was just like even, icing on the cake. Even though I hate to, to compare Donald Pleasance to icing. He is not icing. He is the main dish, along with Michael. But, I'm rambling here. And let me show you guys, because I was editing last night and I didn't get the video up yet, but I want to show you guys this. This is going to be in the video that I'm editing, but I just got this in the Mondo, Halloween 4 and 5 Mondo. And the casing on this thing is really just stellar. Look at that. And then there's the spine. And I'm hoping it's making out here really well. But this thing is, if it's still available and you got the money, I say go and buy it from the Mondo Tees site. And big shout out to Beth S. for this, because she's the one that clued me in. What's up, Wolfman? How you doing, brother? She's the one that clued me in on this Mondo. And I before buying any Halloween vinyls, I wasn't a vinyl buyer at all. And now I'm like itching to buy a record player, because I'm dying to hear these OSTs and see what they sound like on an actual record player. Epic Zombie Killer, no, I have not seen it yet. I was just telling these guys I'm seeing it tomorrow night. But yeah, before I get into your questions and topics, just wanted to show you guys this real quick. That is the back of the Halloween 4. That is the front. Just beautiful. And I got to show you the Halloween 5. And here is the Halloween 5 with the Curse of the Thorn. That's probably my favorite cover. That just looks amazing. Like, really amazing. Almost makes me want to get a thorn tattoo, and that's crazy, I know. By the way, I'm considering getting a tattoo. I don't have a tattoo at all. I'm considering getting my first tattoo for Christmas, maybe. And, of course, it would be a Myers tattoo, so I'm considering it. I'm really thinking about it, and I never thought I would get a tattoo, but Halloween does crazy things to Halloween fans. So, yeah, there's that. And then I actually have my Halloween 3 Mondo in the case, too. And I got 1 and 2 on order. I'm just so excited to see you guys in here. 210 watching. This is insane. Yeah, there's the Halloween 3 Mondo. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, I'm a Thorn fan. Nathan Oswalt. Yeah, man. Thorn fans unite. Fuck the haters. I'm just kidding. The haters I like the haters. Whatever. Okay. So anyway, yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that. But that unbox, I got a ton of great stuff from you guys, and I bought this, and I'm looking forward for you guys to seeing it. That probably won't be until after the weekend, though, now, because tomorrow night, my schedule is go to work, I get out of work, 7 o'clock, I will be there watching the movie. I'm going to go ahead and get my review, like stuff that I can do before seeing the movie. I'm going to go, and I'm sure Wolfman knows what I'm talking about here. I'm going to get everything prearranged in my review, get all my clips chopped up, and then after the movie, I'm going to come home, I'm going to edit all night, and I'm going to get my review up. So that will be up, and then I took off work Friday because I'm going to be tired, and then I'm going to try to get a spoiler review out by Sunday, which is going to be cool. Tom Ferreira, thank you so much. The Halloween music's so much better than Friday the 13th. Yeah, I mean, they're very different. And I think Friday the 13th has that one little cue that is great. But I mean, Halloween, it's a freaking, there's so many musical cues from Halloween that are iconic. Most people think of the, the 5/4 time, da 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 da. But that's just that's the great thing, but then there's like 4 or 5 other cues from just the first movie alone that are just so iconic. The dun 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 dun, and then you get the background. I mean, John Carpenter, guys. It's Sinister Cinema Reviews. Jason, what's up, man? This will be the 9th Halloween film I've seen in theaters. Let's see. Well, let's count it off. Okay, I saw 4, 5, 6, 7, Resurrection, Rob Zombie's Halloween, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, and the first. So this will be the 8th I've seen in theaters. I haven't seen 2 and 3 yet. I really want to see 2 and 3 in the theaters. Like, that would be amazing if I could complete the whole thing in theaters. Yeah, I've seen the original Halloween 3 times in theaters now. I just recently saw it a couple weeks ago, and yeah, I think that's enough. Like, I've seen it 3 times on the big screen. It's amazing every time. But now I'm ready to. I want to see 2 and 3 on the big screen so bad. I want to go back and see 4 on the big screen again. Actually, because, you know, if you're really familiar with my channel, I've mentioned this a few times. Halloween 4 is my greatest theater experience ever. It really is. I was 15 years old, and the reaction that I had to that movie is unlike any other reaction I've ever had. You know, nightmares after. From start to finish, I was just completely invested in the characters. You know, right away I was invested in Jamie Lloyd. Daniel Harris did a great job as Jamie Lloyd. Right away I was invested in Rachel. You know, still to this day, Rachel's one of my favorite final girls. The relationship between those two, I thought, was so strong. You know, and from a character standpoint, if you push aside Loomis and Michael, I think 4 is the strongest Halloween movie from a character standpoint, not a directing standpoint. Don't misquote me, all right? I'm just saying, from a character standpoint, I really invested with the characters in Halloween 4 more than any other Halloween movie. And I don't know if that's because of nostalgia. You know, I'm sure that does play a part in it. But like I said, from the get, as I was watching the movie in the theater, I was just so invested in those characters. So yeah, and I think that's a big reason why I like what's called the Thorn trilogy, even though 4 really is not a Thorn movie. I love 4. I love 6. So 5, I give a pass because it is a bridge between those movies. Oh wow! Thank you, Super Chat. J. Ross, $20. James Jude Courtney will do Michael Myers a great service. Yeah, I mean, from the footage I've seen of him, I mean, he is the best Myers, I think, since Dick Warlock, as far as like OG Myers goes. Cody Leach. Hey, look at this shirt I got on. Right? Fuck this movie. But yeah, you know, and I've said before, my favorite is my favorite Myers is George P. Wilbur. And maybe that's because of my relationship with Halloween 4 and all that stuff. But, you know, as far as like OG Myers goes, Halloween 1 and 2, old school Myers, like I call it the Carpenter Myers. James Jude Courtney definitely has that vibe. You know, I'm feeling a lot of just a cross between Nick Castle and Dick Warlock in his, you know, his walk, his stance. I mean, he nails it. And, you know, it makes me think maybe he went and studied. I'm sure he did. He probably studied the way a couple of the Myers actors, especially Dick Warlock and Nick Castle. Yeah, he really nails it. Yeah, I'm surprised. Carla Strait, I'm shocked that Dave's has been able to keep it under wraps for this long. You know, he left out a little blurb about the movie, but even that blurb didn't really say, wow, you know, this was amazing. You know, he's definitely holding it close to the vest. And hey, I applaud him for that, because it would be tough for, you know, knowing me, I'm very impulsive. And if I saw this movie at TIFF, let's just say it's probably a good thing I didn't see this movie at TIFF, because I have like knee-jerk reactions. I can't control my emotions. When if you've seen my Strangers Pray at Night review, you'll know that right when I walked out of the theater, I lost my shit. So it's probably a good thing that I'm seeing this with a big audience, which is a nice segue into big audiences. I'm glad that I'm actually seeing this with a big audience for the first time. Am I a little jealous that others got to see this movie early? Yeah, of course. But you know, after I tried to get an early screening, and it didn't work out. But almost immediately after it didn't work out, I was kind of relieved. You know, I was like, damn, man, that would have been cool. But kind of relieved, because my first viewing of this movie will be with a big crowd, and I think you need to see a Halloween movie with a big crowd. I do. You'll just get so much more out of it. You know. I'm gonna take a drink of water here real quick. Insane. 230 watching. Jesus. That's not me. That's the power of Halloween, guys. Halloween, this day before the movie, it draws a crowd. It really does. 23 hours to go for Wolfman. 20. Yeah, I'm 23 and I'm seeing this time tomorrow night. I'm seeing this because I'm on the East Coast. So this time minus 30 minutes. I will be sitting in the theater watching Halloween. Crazy. Oh, God. I had to drink of water. Drink of water. Okay. If you guys want to post some topics that you'd like to discuss, not just about the new movie, but about the entire franchise, I'm totally down with that. Some high-quality H2O. Lee Maudlin, yeah. Waterboy. Love Waterboy. That's back when Sandler was putting out good movies. And then Anthony, no, I'm not in Georgia. I live in Florida now. So, Tyler Birdman, my worst fear is a boring crowd. I want to hear people cheering. Yeah, and I think, if you're going on Thursday night with a crowd, more than likely that crowd's there because they're probably fans or they're just slasher fans or horror fans. So my guess is I'm probably going to have a good time. And I will say, I think there's going to be a lot of people in that audience that are big fans of the movie. And if anybody tries to fuck that situation up, then they're probably going to get lynched. And I'll probably be the first person to stand up. I am not going to let somebody ruin my Halloween viewing experience. I will lose my shit. Talk about why people love Rob Zombie's Halloween but despise Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Man, that's a good one, Cody. I can tell you why I much prefer Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 over the first one. The first one, to me, feels like a hodgepodge. It feels like, Rob Zombie's could only make half of the movie that he wanted to make. He only wanted to make that first part of the movie, and then he had to fulfill those remake needs. And so I think that's the problem with Rob Zombie's Halloween, amongst other things, and it doesn't kick off on a good note at all. It kicks off like pretty nasty and just like, what the fuck is this? It's whereas Halloween 2, I felt tone-wise from start to finish, you were either going to love this movie or you were going to hate it. You were going to hate it from the beginning and you were going to hate it at the end. Whereas Rob Zombie's Halloween, you might hate this part, but then, this part's cool, but then I really hate that part. But that part's really cool too. You see what I mean? So I think Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is a lot more consistent. You will consistently hate it or you will consistently love it. So, good topic, Cody. John Kyle Stanton, thank you. Lee, I heard Cody and Tina have a private screening. Can you confirm this? Tina? I'm lost. I don't know about I don't know about Cody Leach either. I can't say anything. So, but yeah, John, I'm sorry. I don't know who Tina is. Holly Klein says we're from Haddonfield. Couldn't be prouder. Can't hear that. We'll yell a little louder. I was actually saying that the other day. We're just walking down the street. People started staring at me like, "What the fuck is this guy doing?" Oh God. Okay. Oh, and speaking of that, like I was in Olive Garden. I posted this on Twitter too, actually. But I was in Olive Garden, and I walked through the door, and I had my Pennywise shirt on. I didn't have a Halloween shirt on, and so the first thing the receptionist said was, "Oh, I love that shirt," and I was like, "Oh, thanks." And then she said, "Are you going to see the new Halloween movie?" And I was like, "You bet your sweet ass I am." I didn't say that, but I said, "Yeah, you damn right." And then all of a sudden, like 3 other employees from Olive Garden all jumped in as like, "Oh, I can't wait. This is going to be amazing. I'm seeing it opening night." And I was just kind of shocked, because me, you guys, we're kind of a niche market. And you know how it is when you go out into public, when you walk away from your computer, you don't really get the horror love like you get here on YouTube. And so that was a nice little thing. Usually I go into places and nobody dares talk about horror movies, and if they do, they're like, "Oh, Halloween, is that?" And I guarantee you, they don't know that this one is like, a direct sequel to the first. I always have to tell them that. Say, yeah, oh, by the way, this 2 and on, they don't count at all, and whatever. But they don't care, whereas you. So that was a nice little surprise when I went into freaking Olive Garden and they were just like flipping their shit. Podman did not know that was a cheer from the movie. Holy crap. Unforgivable. Let's see. I'm just kidding. It's totally forgivable. October 19th will be my 1 year in Killer Flicks. Johnny Wire. What's up, John? All right, man. Awesome. Tina from Halloween 5. Cody's favorite. Oh, okay. I got you. And for a second, I was like, is he talking about Tina from Halloween 5? I don't know. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Tina, but somebody actually posted the other day that Tina actually lives. And me being the big Halloween fan, if you asked me, did Tina die in the movie, I would have said yes. But you never actually see her die on screen. And I guess, now I'll have to go back and watch Halloween 5 again, even though I've seen it a million times. I didn't realize that, I guess she was in maybe they put her on a gurney or something like that. I could be wrong, but somebody said that she actually could have lived. In a horror movie, if you don't actually see them dying, then they're not necessarily dead. So, got a couple more super chats here, so let me scroll up just a bit. Nathan Oswalt, thank you, says Rob Zombie said he originally wanted to make 2 Halloween movies. The first film being Myers Childhoods and Smith's Grove. The second film being the remake. Yeah, I do believe I remember him saying that, and I think he was forced because this was like right after Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out, like 4 years after, and there were a few other remakes at the time. Maybe Hills Have Eyes. So I think Weinstein, they wanted to get the remake in, all in one movie. And you can't blame them, But I don't know if I could have taken 2 hours of Rob Zombie's origin story, because that's my least favorite part of the movie. So I'm kind of glad. But, Rob Zombie's Halloween is a weird movie for me because, like, last time I watched it, I was just getting annoyed by the whole thing. And then, I watched it, and I've watched it so many times, and every time I watch it, it's like a different experience for me. It's just a weird movie. Some movies do that, I guess, Sometimes you like them, sometimes you don't. That's one, very few times it happens, but, it does happen, I guess. And that one's one for me. Like, I could watch it 10 times, and 5 of those times I like it. It's just a weird movie like that. J. Ross, $5. Thank you very much. What is your favorite Michael Myers mask now? I've always been pretty much from the get, I've always been a Halloween 6 mask fan. I just love the look of that mask. I think what John Carl Buechler did with that design is it's just the creepiest looking mask. It has like the most detail, I think, next to the first. And yeah, I think it's still, I think, after the dust settles and the hoorah and the hype and everything, I think that mask is still going to be my favorite. I do like this new mask, but it does feel a little bit too much like the Rob Zombie mask. But I think it fits this movie. Story-wise, it makes sense because this seems like this is the same mask. So, yeah, it makes sense. But I still think this mask right here, although mine's the face is a little bit too wide, I guess, but George P. Wilbur's face was pretty wide. But I was holding the mask to the mic instead of the camera. Just goes to show how dumb I am sometimes. But yeah, I mean, like if you look at this mask, I just love all the detail on it. This is actually George P. Wilbur's face. It's a mold of his face. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe on the behind the scenes, they stated that this was actually his face. So, but yeah, I don't know, maybe George P. Wilbur just has a really good Michael Myers mask face. So, yeah, this has always been one of my favorites, though. But I've had this mask for... I actually unboxed this mask back in 2015 on my channel, believe it or not. And it was... It was one of the 31 days of October, the first year. I believe one of those episodes I actually unboxed this mask. So, but yeah, let me put this down. But yeah, that's my favorite. That's my really long answer to my favorite Myers mask. Okay, Nathan Oswalt is a big fan of Halloween 6 producer's cut. I'm just not a big fan of that third act in the producer's. And what's weird is like I remember I had the bootleg, a DVD that I bought off of eBay of the bootleg back in the 90s. And it's crazy to me that this is how important quality is, I guess, because I never had a problem with the ending when I used to watch that bootleg. And maybe that's because the quality was so bad. Maybe because sometimes horror movies in HD is a bad thing, I guess. I don't know. But especially when practical effects are concerned. But like I said, yeah, that ending never bothered me. But then when I watched it on the Blu-ray, it's like, oh, wow, I don't remember any of this at all. Why is this different to me? And I didn't like the control aspect of it, how they were controlling Michael and he wasn't holding the cards, and I don't believe Myers should ever be controlled to that extent, Whereas I think in the theatrical cut, as a mess as it is, I much, much preferred that third act. It was just much more, I guess, Halloween, but with an edge. Very brutal, and I think that third act made up for what was lacking before it, in my opinion. Wolfman does not like The Mask. Go check his rank video out. It's solid. Yeah, I know Wolfman. He's a big fan of the Chris Duran H2O mask, but and I think it's just what you like in a Halloween mask. And me, I do not want to see the eyes. If I see the eyes, I don't care how awesome the mask is, I end up hating the mask. And I think in this situation, I think they cut the eye holes way too big in the Stan Winston mask. Aesthetically, I like the Stan Winston mask, but I just hate the eye sockets being that big. I think if they would have made the eye sockets, I don't know if it's making them smaller or putting, some black hose behind them or something like that. I think that mask could have been that much creepier. So I guess it's not really full on the mask's fault. I guess it's just, I guess how you present it. So that's why I have such a problem with the H2O mask. Maybe not liking the Halloween 6 mask has something to do with not liking Halloween 6. I don't know. It could be. Because, with Halloween 4, until the internet, I never noticed the mask problem. I never had a problem with the mask. I never even thought that it would be a problem for anybody. I think I was just so invested in that movie and those characters and what was going on and George P. Wilbur's performance and how menacing he was that I didn't really, I don't know, I guess it was what was behind the mask that scared me. So the mask itself was just a blank slate and it worked for me. And then all of a sudden, here comes the internet and everybody was just like, oh, I hate the Halloween 4 mask. And then I started seeing what they saw. Like there's a few scenes where it does look really, really bad. But then there are a few scenes where in Halloween 4 where the mask doesn't look that bad at all, actually. I guess it's depending on how it's lit. And the funny thing is, it is actually a William Shatner mask. It really is. But it's just, I guess there are like cheaper knockoffs of the William Shatner mask, but the story behind this one was the mask was just way too thick. The paint was way too thick on the mask, so it didn't have all the detail in it like, say, the Halloween 6 mask does, or this new mask. So, but talking about the new mask, I actually do really dig the way this new mask looks, though. I think one thing that they nailed with it is it does look similar to the Shatner mask. It looks more like the Halloween 2 mask than anything, I think, as far as like the position of the nose, the eyes, all that stuff. It looks like a Dick Warlock headed mask. And I love the way Dick Warlock plays Myers, even though he is kind of like Terminator Myers, is what they call him. But he, I think, looked the most inhuman out of the whole franchise. Like you could buy Nick Castle as a human being. It wasn't until later that it dawned on you that, oh, this might not be a human being, at the end of that movie when he falls and then he gets up and leaves. That is the moment when you realize, oh, okay, this might not be, he might be like evil, pure evil. And there's a couple moments, but, the gunshots, of course, he takes freaking... But, Dick Warlock from the get, he just walks like almost like a robot, like an evil robot. Do you think Sheriff Brackett should have had a bigger role in H2 1981? Well, I think Filmatic. Thanks for the question. I think, given the story, I mean, if he's a father and he finds out that his daughter dies, there's no way he's gonna be able to mentally be able to handle the job. I guess you could say. You know, he's. I mean, if my daughter died, there's no way I couldn't function. I'd be done. So. I think they kind of wrote themselves into a corner with that. Like, even if they wanted Sheriff Brackett to stay in the movie, you're going to have some pretty clever writing to keep him in there. But yeah, as a character, I really do like Sheriff Brackett. But having said that, I like Deputy Hunt. I don't really have a problem with Deputy Hunt. And I'll even go as far as saying that for the Halloween Returns script, Deputy Hunt is in that script. And I actually like, because that's a character I'm like, ooh, I wonder what Deputy Hunt is up to now, because, he lives in Halloween 2. So it would be cool to see like a modern day Deputy Hunt, and how is he dealing with the fallout from everything that happened in Halloween 2. Halloween Returns, the script really got me, that was the catalyst that really got me excited for a new Halloween movie, because I did dig that script. I even reviewed the script. And you can tell I was excited about it. And by the time I reviewed the script, though, it was done, over. It wasn't happening. So it was kind of upsetting because there were things in the script that I thought were awesome. It definitely needed some working here and there. But I think Marcus Dunstan nailed who Myers was as a character. There were some genuinely chilling moments in that script. Like, at face value, Myers on death row is a horrible idea. It really is. And then when you read the script, you get it. Like, you see where they're going with it, and how could a scene like that play out? Because, I mean, hey, this still is the real world. A person like Myers would be put on death row, so, hey, you would have to deal with that. And I think the way that scene played out in the script, if you haven't read the script, I highly recommend it. Just because that scene is like pure chaos, and I'm just reading it. So I could, I think the best scripts are the ones that you can already visualize what's going on screen as you're reading it. And that was one script that was like that. It was just like you could totally see this whole scene just completely playing out. And it got me really excited. That script really got me super pumped for a Halloween movie. Like, I was like, okay, we're going to get another, Rob Zombie. We're going to get Rob Zombie's Halloween 3, even though Rob Zombie's not going to direct it. And I'll go see it. But those days of great Halloween movies, that's gone. That was my mindset back then. I'll be a fanboy for life, but that script really got me. I was on board. I was like, okay, yeah, now we could have a great Halloween movie. And then after going and watching The Collector and The Collection, and I'd seen The Collector before, but Cody recommended The Collection. And after watching those two movies, I was like, damn, I'm really happy about this Halloween movie, but if they want to make this other Halloween movie on the side and just kind of put it back here and say, hey guys, we got this here too if you want to check it out. Yeah, I would definitely freaking watch that, because there were things in that script that were really awesome, actually. And especially the ending, because Loomis comes out of the shadows at the ending. So yeah, I know I'm talking way too much about Halloween Returns, but that's the first thing that got me really excited. And then after that, you hear that Danny McBride. I still remember, putting out a Halloween update about Danny McBride for the first time. I'm sure Wolfman does too. And my reaction to that was just like, I was puzzled at first. Like, what? Danny McBride? That was my knee-jerk reaction, because this is guy, he's known for comedies. But then after I let it settle for a minute and I started thinking about his style of humor and his performance in Pineapple Express does have, like, Pineapple Express is a comedy, but it's definitely got some directing that is not necessarily from a comedy style director, if that makes any sense. David Gordon Green proved to me that he could totally handle a horror movie by watching Pineapple Express, even though that movie is not a horror movie at all. But I can tell when a director can handle something like, horror, like drama, and David Gordon Green can totally do it. If you really think about it, if you really watch Pineapple Express, you can see stuff like that in there. What's up, Beth S? I think she just jumped in here. No versus. Michael is good on his own. You know what? I completely agree with that. I think if you put Michael in a versus movie, it's going to be really, really hard to make that movie great. And let me tell you why. Because, and I've compared Myers with Jason Voorhees many times. They're two completely different types of characters, really different types of slasher movies. I think Jason movies are more like cheeseburgers and fries. Whereas, a great Halloween movie, I think, it's a little bit higher. It's a little bit more respectable. And, a big part of that is because of Loomis, of course. That's the first thing you're going to think about. Loomis, as a character, is a great character. Put aside horror. Just in characters alone, I think Loomis is a very important, very interesting character. You don't have that in the Friday movies outside of Jason. And then Myers, as a character study, again, a extremely interesting character. You have Dean Cundy as a cinematographer, and then of course you have Carpenter. So all those things put Halloween way above, I think, Friday the 13th. I love Friday the 13th movies. Don't blast me. I have a great time with Friday movies. But I'm saying, if you put those two characters in a movie, tonally, thematically, it's going to be tough to pull off. Unless you take Jason and just make him like a completely serious... You almost have to not completely rewrite his backstory, but you have to you got to play with it a little bit. You got to take certain elements out of there to raise it up to the seriousness of what Halloween is. Then it could work, I think. But it would be really hard, and I don't think I would want to see it, to be honest. I'd definitely watch it. I'm a fan. I'll go to but I think it's a tough movie to pull off and be like, because for me, Halloween is about of course, it's about tension, it's about scares, but it's also about emotion. Like, I get a lot of emotion out of Halloween movies, whereas I've never had, a single bit of, emotion or sadness or anything from a Friday movie. I just have fun. That's what it's all about. With Halloween, though, I can have laughter here and there. I can get sad. I can be completely afraid. It's just so many things about Halloween that just make it. And I think that's why I'm obsessed with Halloween. Because it's the only slasher movie that gives me all those elements, Whereas most slasher movies don't really do that, And the slasher genre is my favorite genre. I don't need everything. All I want to do is sit back with my popcorn and watch a killer kill people off one by one, and I'm happy as a pig in shit. But to me, Halloween's like another thing for me, that's the reason why the first Halloween's like my favorite movie ever, because it's not just, a cheeseburger and fries. So there's my long answer for that question. Hey Lee, did you hear about Robert Englund is returning as Freddy for an upcoming Halloween episode of The Goldbergs? First time in Freddy in 15 years. You know what? I just wish that he would just come back and play Freddy again. He could still do it because they put the makeup on him. Maybe hit the weights a little. I think he's still in relatively good shape too. So I really don't know what's holding him back. Besides his age, because I know some people, some actors, when they get up to a certain age, they still, after a while, they get bored. They want to get back out there and they want to act. It happened to Stallone. So, I can see a time where Robert Englund, he starts reminiscing, and he after he's had a nice break, he might be like, you know what, maybe I should go back and do it one more time just to see what we can do. Because the last one he did was Freddy vs. Jason, which is a fun ass movie. But I think Robert Englund, it would be cool to see him come back and play him like he did in the first two movies. I would totally be down for that. That'd be badass. Man, guys, time is freaking flying. Holy crap. Thank you all for showing up for this. This is awesome. I was going to make this like an hour. Hey, Take My Oxygen's here. What's up? How are you doing? I haven't seen you around in a while. We're the Dream Warriors. Don't want to dream no more. That's it. Freaking love that song. I love freaking part 3. Dream Warriors? Oh. Oh man, I might. Yeah, I might have to go another at least 30 minutes. I was gonna do just an hour and hang it up, but man, you guys are just so awesome. So, give me a pair of your squirrel covers. There he is. Fucking CP, man. I love that guy. God damn it. I love him so much. I swear, I would hug his jean shorts if I could. I feel like I need a ham sandwich right now. You know? I prefer mayonnaise, if I'm being honest. Not really a mustard guy. Wolfman's Got Nard says, I don't think Robert Englund should play Freddy again one last time, simply because I want to see numerous Nightmare movies, so to change Freddy after one movie would be pointless personally. I do agree with that, actually. You know, it's interesting, too, because we are in a new age. You know, we're in a new generation. Why not start a new line, no pun intended, but wait, why not start a new run of Nightmare movies? You know, like they did in the 80s. Hell, even Fridays. But, you know, Nightmare's a perfect example, though, you know. There's a fan base for Freddy out there. I see it all the time when I go into like FYE. Freddy is all over the place. So why not come up with a game plan? Why not come up with like let's come up with like a 15-year game plan, right? Let's get a brand new actor, an unknown, to play Freddy that does a damn good job. You know, maybe a stage actor or something like that. And let's plan out like 4 movies, you know? What is, you know, I don't want to say what is so hard about that, because that is hard. I mean, you have to write those 4 movies, but I'm just saying, start laying some tracks, you know, because I don't think New Line is having any legal issues with Freddy. And I guarantee you, if you make Freddy movies like fun and dark again, and don't try to tell too much of a backstory like they did with the remake, then, you know, it's really a simple formula, I think. And I think, plot-wise, the Nightmare movies are like some of the most interesting horror films. I mean, the possibilities that you can do with Nightmare movies is just, it's insane. You know, and that was what was so fun about even the bad Nightmare movies. You were like, yeah, this is not good at all, but I got a good kill coming up here pretty soon, and it's going to get really creative, and I have no idea where it's going to go, and it's going to be awesome. You know, even Freddy's Dead had a couple of fun nightmare sequences. You know, like when the guy's ears explode. Who doesn't love that shit? So, yeah, if anybody from New Line's freaking watching this right now, get your head out of your ass, man. Lay some tracks. Lay some fucking tracks. All right. Let's see what else we got. Definitely be wearing my Killer Flicks t-shirt tomorrow. Bernie Gambano. Yeah, man. Yeah, like I said, if you guys wear your Killer Flicks t-shirt to the opening of Halloween, snap a shot of it. Snap a shot. That sounds stupid. And yeah, post it on Killer Flicks. As a matter of fact, I'll probably create that thread tomorrow morning. I'll create a Killer Flicks thread for just the Halloween 2018 t-shirt thread. That's what I'll call it, or something like that. And then that way you guys can start just posting your t-shirts in there. And yeah, like I said, on my spoiler review, I'm going to put together a collage. I'm going to show you guys off. It'll be freaking awesome. I'm wearing mine. I'm going to wear my my Halloween 6 t-shirt. The We Are Michael Myers one. That's what I'm going to do. Lee, do you want a sequel to 6 or Resurrection? Did CP just ask me like I don't know if he's kidding or not. Should I take the bait? Okay. Oh, I would definitely prefer a sequel to 6, I think. But I see how hard that would be. It's funny because I was actually watching the making of H2O today. You know, because it's an interesting making of to watch, because originally they wanted to make a sequel to 6, but they didn't want to. They didn't want to tell the story. They wanted to go back to basics. They wanted to keep it simple, kind of like they did with 4. So they were going to put the H2O was originally going to go direct to video, and so what they were going to do was they brought in this writer, and they were going to make like a boarding school. So the boarding school thing was always there from the beginning, and there was like a new family member there, and then Myers was just going to go kill a new family member. They weren't going to deal with all the loose threads from Halloween 6. And you know what? I can't blame them at all. Even as much as I love 6, I wouldn't want to be tasked with trying to continue that story and where do you go with that thorn line and, you know. Although I will say I do love those characters in 6 so much. I would love to see where Kara and Tommy Doyle went. That's the only thing that I'd love to carry over. But, you know, you don't have Jamie Lloyd in there anymore, so. But that's originally what they wanted to do. And then all of a sudden, they realized, oh, my God, this is 20 years. Let's see if we can get Jamie Lee Curtis. So Jamie Lee Curtis comes back, and then the rest is history. Whereas with, like, Resurrection, I think you have a little bit more of an open palette for a sequel. So, you know, either way, I think, you know, I'm kind of in the middle on them. You know, either way, it could be good. You know what I mean? Good director, good writer. Doesn't matter which platform it springs off of. As long as you got those elements, then you have a chance at a good movie. You know, because you know, a lot of writers say too, you can freaking explain, you know, the loose threads in a previous movie in like 3 sentences. A lot of times, you know, like in the beginning of Resurrection, how did Michael Myers come back? And they really did that in like one scene. It was that quick, and then, okay, now we can move on with our movie. You know, so it doesn't really matter which sequel you take up after. All that matters is, like, which characters do you want to, you know, which characters do you want to follow, I guess. And I guess that's why I would choose 6, because Resurrection, which characters are we following? You know, we're following, I mean, let's face it, shit characters, really. So, yeah. They were fun to watch die. They were decent actors. But, you know, how do we explain Freddy being alive? You know, Busta Rhymes, because nobody wants that shit. So we pretty much got to kill him right at the beginning, because Freddy is the Jar Jar Binks of the Halloween franchise. That's what he is. So do you want I mean, if you look at episode 1, you had 95% of it being Jar Jar Binks. Episode 2, 5%. There's your other 5% right there. He's like, not even 5%. He's barely in episode 2. So, and episode 1, it's like, if you look this way, you might have missed him. You know. So, or episode 3. So, yeah. Lee, the screenings are stacked this weekend. We may have superhero type numbers. Holy crap, man. That's the thing. Like, we all made our predictions. You know, my prediction was like 75 million. But really, I mean, if this thing opens over 100 million, I won't be surprised because of the hype that's going on. If it opens to like 50 million, I will be a little surprised. But then I think if this thing does open to like 50 million, then I think that's going to be a wake-up call to horror fans. Like, hey, relax, okay? I know you guys are excited, but what does the rest of the world think? And yeah, so, but I mean, yeah, given the hype of this thing, it doesn't have any competition this weekend. Venom was 2 weeks ago, so this really could have, like, I mean, it's going to have a major opening, but it could, like, reach superhero type numbers. So, I mean, wouldn't it be great if, like, the one thing that everybody keeps bringing up is It. This movie will not make It numbers. That's the one thing I constantly hear, and I believe it too. But wouldn't it be amazing if this thing opens like It did? That would be insane to me. And it, you know, it's like Myers would have like the ultimate, like, fuck you to everybody. Or hallelujah, I guess, however you want to look at it. But yeah. Robert Nickerson, I'm glad you brought that up. I really hope it opens with a pumpkin. The last time we had a pumpkin opening was Halloween 5. But the last time we had, like, the real pumpkin opening, like we're, you know, is 2. I mean, because the camera backing away from the pumpkin, you know. And I believe in the first movie, even though I've seen the first movie a million times, he zooms in on the pumpkin. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then the second one, yeah, I think both of them actually zoom in. Come to think of it, they do, because the second one zooms in, and then we see the pumpkin open, and then there's a skull. So I know Danny McBride and David Gordon Green were huge fans. They wanted to do tons of callbacks, and don't spoil it if you've seen the movie in the chat. But you know, I like to think that they would have maybe put a pumpkin homage in there at the beginning. So, yeah, I'm hoping for it, but either way, yeah, we'll see. Yes, 5 did have a pumpkin intro. What's up, Maurice? The Beast Vlogs. What's up, brother? He had a birthday a few days ago. So Maurice is an awesome dude. He's been with me since the beginning, almost. Like, I think Maurice subbed my channel when I had... How many did I have, Maurice? Like, I might have had 100 subs at the time or something like that. And, he's just been an awesome friend the whole time, So I really appreciate your friendship, Maurice. And happy birthday, man. And he puts out awesome vlogs, too, by the way. He recently went and seen Halloween on the big screen. And, and he did a vlog on that. Take My Oxygen says she wants to see a Deckard spinoff of Halloween Resurrection. She actually loves Resurrection. And there is like a fan base for Resurrection. There are some people that love Resurrection. And that's cool, I think it's cool that there's a fan, but like I'm a fan of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. And I'm sure some people think that's crazy. So, I think that's what's cool about not just Halloween, but, Friday and Nightmare. Like, even Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there are people that are fans of The Next Generation. And that movie is like one of the worst movies I've ever seen. But Matthew McConaughey is entertaining, though. He is really entertaining. Seed of Chucky's probably the worst movie I've ever seen. Like, as far as like, there's different categories of bad movies, but as far as like worst movie you've ever seen, to me it means it's torture to watch said movie. The one movie that's torture to watch for me is Seed of Chucky. I can't do it. It just kills me. So I'm going to get a monster. I will be right back. So if you guys need to go get a bathroom break, knock yourself out. Has anybody ever seen this movie? It's called Machine Girl. Looks like an Asian film. One of my subscribers just sent this to me. This is going to be in that unbox too, but yeah, Machine Girl. It kind of reminds me of Planet Terror because she's got like a robot arm, and her arm is like a gun. But I'll be shocked if one of you has seen this movie. 242 of you, have one of you seen this movie? Maybe the subscriber that sent this to me, he might be in there though. So I don't know. But Machine Girl. So new soundtrack thoughts. Man, I'd say CP just on top of it. Now, I've only listened to just a little bit because I want to go into this. I want the soundtrack to be completely fresh to me. So I'm not going to be able to give you too many thoughts on the soundtrack. What I have heard, I really like. I watched a little behind the scenes thing, and John Carpenter and his son, I think it's Cody Carpenter, they were talking about the new music, and they showed just like a little thing, and they had this one segment where they have, I believe it's a guitar, and he's got like a violin, what do you call it, like a wand or whatever, and it kind of like what they did with the Dark Knight with the Joker theme, and he's like running it on the guitar while they're playing like this emotional, like sort of like Halloween movie from the first movie. But that little snippet, I was like, wow, this is gonna be freaking, music wise, this movie looks like it's gonna be freaking awesome. Like, this might be the best score that we've had since the first couple movies. Let me know in the comments right now what your favorite score is, besides the first one, because I know most of you are going to say the first one, but there's a lot of interesting scores in this movie. I really love 6, the theatrical score. It's just, I don't know, it's like that rock edge to it. I don't know, it's really pulse pounding. It gets you going. I like that score. 2, I think, might be one of my favorite scores because I love that synth angle, and I guess Alan Howarth, he actually took, like, the story behind Halloween 2 is, score-wise, is John Carpenter, he was busy directing The Fog. And so he hired Alan Howarth, and he said, here, this is my score from 1, do with it what you want. You know, obviously you're going to want to use, you know, certain elements, but mix it up. And so Alan Howarth, he took that score, and he laid a synth over the top of it. So what you hear in that opening score is still the same theme, like the exact same music, actually, with what Alan Howarth put over the top of it, you know. So I guess I like to call it synth gravy. That's what Halloween 2 has. It has synth gravy. And I dig it. It sounds awesome, actually. I love that score. Yeah, Halloween 4 has a really great score. That opening scene where it shows, like, you know, the hayfields and all that stuff, you know, all those little things that we mentally see in our heads when we think of the holiday Halloween. It's right in the beginning of Halloween 4. And it's accented by this really, like, sense of dread type music that's not, you know, I think this is the first time that piece of music's ever been used in the Halloween franchise. But you know, the music tied with those pictures, really is what they were, made that opening just so iconic for Halloween 4. Like, that's one of the biggest things when you ask somebody, what do you think of Halloween 4? One of the first things they say is, I love that freaking opening. It's just such a cool opening. I mean, it gives you chills. It gets you in the mood for the movie. And that music kind of lets you know, like, emotionally, tonally, where you're going to go with this movie. I mean, with no words said, no person pictured on the screen, just hayfield and music, and that's it. And automatically, you're like, oh, this some bad shit's about to happen. So, how do you have 2 of my heads when my head is right here with me? Michael Myers, yeah. Simon Moon, what's up, brother? What is your favorite side character in the Halloween series, Lee? Good, straightforward question. Well, I mean, I guess some would call Loomis a side character, but I don't think you mean that, because most people are going to pick Loomis. But Rachel, I like Rachel. There's a lot of characters I like in the franchise. Like I said, I love Rachel. I love Jamie Lloyd. Is a great character. Bud. You know, I guess it depends on what you want, but I think Bud is freaking awesome. Like, I think Bud might be the little trace of Rob Zombie in the franchise before Rob Zombie took over. You know, Bud's just a fun character. He has very few lines, but you remember him. And, you know, I think that's just a sign of a great actor if you can say some lines that really just everybody means, because it's not just the words that he's saying, but it's the way he's saying them. He's got that Northeastern type vibe to him, you know. And he says, like, "Amazing Grace, come sit on my face." It's like, whoa. And then, where you going, college boy? You know, he's just like, I love a character that's like so full of themselves, so in control, but yet they're a complete buffoon in your eyes. But if you ask Bud, you know, who do you think you are? Bud feels, you know, he feels like he's freaking king of the world. That's what I love about Bud. And the interesting thing about Bud, Leo Rossi, is that he got the job through, I believe it was was it Irwin Yablans, and he kept, or it was either Irwin Yablans or Tommy Lee Wallace, but no, because Tommy Lee Wallace had nothing to do with part two. But basically, whoever was in charge said, "Yeah, you're gonna get the gig. Don't worry." I think it was Rick Rosenthal, actually. I'm all over the place, but he said, "Yeah, you're gonna get the gig. No worries." But Deborah Hill did not want to give him the gig because he had a northeastern accent, and she didn't think that belonged in a Halloween movie. Which, I mean, face value, she's probably right. But he kept lobbying, and he got the part, and he ends up being one of the most memorable characters in the whole movie. So, yeah, I love Leo Rossi. He was just at the convention too. I know Dave interview. I watched that interview with him. Yeah, man, he just really sticks out. He's Bud. I even have a freaking Bud T-shirt. I freaking love Bud. Tommy Doyle is a great character. I think Paul Rudd did a great job with Tommy Doyle. I'm glad that they didn't bring back Brian Andrews, just because, and I could be wrong, but I don't think Brian Andrews was really in the acting game at the time. I don't think he had acted in quite a few years. Didn't even have an agent. That's why he wasn't sought out. He was sought out, but they couldn't find him because he didn't have an agent. So along comes Paul Rudd, and I think Paul Rudd was great as Tommy Doyle, actually. I think if you had a really shitty actor playing Tommy Doyle, then, Six would have been a horrible movie. But I think, I think he's underrated in it because it's not one of the big things that, you always hear about the atmosphere, you always hear about Myers, you always hear about the cinematography, all that stuff. But, right at the end of the list, you'll hear people say, oh, and Paul Rudd's in it. But I think Paul Rudd's great in Six, actually. He oversells it just a little bit. But, I'd rather him oversell it than be completely monotone and just boring. You remember it. You could tell he cared about what he was doing. So, Robert Nickerson, I'm seeing the movie tomorrow. Yeah. Aldo Monterrubio. I'm sure I butchered that. I want to say thanks, being part of Killer Flicks, finding horror fans and Halloween fans respectful and funny creators. Haven't read any spoilers. Most of the comments are good vibes. Yeah, man, that's what's shocking me too, is like there's not too many spoilers in Killer Flicks. Like, I'm sure if I went looking for them, maybe I would find some, but I haven't noticed. I haven't seen one single person spoil a thing about this new movie in Killer Flicks. And I think that's just a testament to the kind of people we have in the group. We have really cool people. We have drama here and there, but I think for the most part, it's a solid group. It really is. Amanda from Aesthetic Star, how are you doing? She says, I missed a little bit of the stream because I forgot I had to take the garbage out. And I still need to make my dinner. Haha, but hello, Lee, and everyone in the chat. Well, what I want to know and what everybody else wants to know is, what are you having for dinner? Because I'm very, very curious. Blake G. Lee, you going to do a quick reaction vid after the show tomorrow? It's funny you asked that because my wife actually said that. She was like, you should throw the camera up after the movie and put something out. And no. That's not my style. I want the first thing that I put out to be the best quality that I can make it. And I've seen channels that do this. They'll, and you know what? Let's elephant in the room. It's to get the views. That's the only reason why some channels do that. Right after they walk out of a theater, they pull a camera up, want to get those thoughts out. But I think the big reason people do that is for views. And yeah, of course I want to get good views on my review, but you know what? More importantly, I want to be proud of what I put out there. So, no, I'm not going to plus I'm going to be registering this movie. It's going to take me at least until I get home to properly register everything that I just saw. And so it's not something I really want to do, I don't know. I've put up clickbait thumbnails before. You got to get people to watch your video. So, there's certain things you do, and I think certain things you don't do. But, yeah, I guess that's my one little thing that I don't want to do is I don't want to do a quick reaction video for the sake of quality. And plus, my thoughts are going to be all over the place when I walk out of this movie probably. I mean, I might love it, but no, I don't want to do that. I want to collect my thoughts. I want to get home. I want to record. I want to put out a quality video for you guys. That's what that is important to me, as it's important to a lot of people. The Canadian Godzilla. Yeah, I did see the Halloween 60 video. It's funny. I mean, it's an easy joke because, I mean, let's face it, Michael is 60 in this movie. And I think that's like right at the cutoff of what's almost acceptable for age-wise for him to be. That's when you start having to defend it. Like, I've had to defend it. I've said, hey, look at Stallone. The guy's freaking in his 70s and he could kick my ass and yours. So, but yeah, I mean, he's 60 years old in this movie. So, when he's 80, no, I'm hoping, because I know they're probably going to do a sequel to this movie, and I'm hoping they have like 2 more movies in mind or something like that. And it would be cool if the next movie takes place on the same exact night like Halloween 2 did. That would be kind of neat, I think, and it would be kind of an homage to 2. Let's pick up right where this one left off. That could be cool. Joker Snipes, he says, have you seen Chris Stuckman's review of Halloween 2018? If not, then you'll be shocked if you watch. Joker, let me tell you how I do not watch other people's reviews for movies that I'm going to review. I've watched Chris Stuckman's reviews before. If it's something that I'm not really interested in reviewing, then I'll do that. But if it's a movie that I definitely plan on reviewing, then I don't watch any other reviews. And the reason for that is because I don't want their thoughts in my head. I don't want to watch their review and think, oh, he's got a good point there. I want to make sure I bring that up, because then I got this thought in my head like, oh, am I copying somebody or something like that? I don't ever want to be doing that. So, I don't even I don't watch Cody's review. Now, what I will do sometimes is I'll like click on the video and watch like 10 seconds of it just out of curiosity. But no, I don't do that. That will completely throw me off. I might watch it after I review it. Then, the freaking gate's open and I can watch anybody's review, which I do that sometimes. But, yeah, before I watch that movie, though, no dice, no way. Jay Ross, thank you very much. What are your thoughts on Laurie Strode from 78 to now? How do you think she prepared for this? Well, I mean, having not seen the movie, just a guess, I think she was so distraught by the event, as anybody would be, by the events that happened. And I think I did hear, I'm not going to say that because just in case you guys don't know, I'm definitely not going to spoil it for you guys. But what I will say is that any person that's in a situation like that, they're gonna have emotional issues probably for the rest of their life. So, and knowing that person is alive and in prison, is even more scary. What's even more scary than that is, what if Myers wasn't in prison? What if he was just gone for 40 years? So then it's even worse because like you're constantly looking over your shoulder. It's just, yeah. Oh, Wolfman's editing a video right now. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I thought, spur of the moment today, I was like, ooh, maybe I should do like a pregame stream tonight just to talk to you guys, let you guys know that, hey, I'm going to be reviewing the movie tomorrow night, and really just talk Halloween with you guys, just have some fun, kind of cool. Let's see. Yeah, man, I wish I had a Scottish accent too. That's pretty damn cool. I had a buddy of mine that I was in Korea with. I was stationed in Korea for a year when I was in the military, and he was from Texas, and he had like a southern accent, but he could nail a Scottish accent like you wouldn't believe, like so much so that he would go out when we go out in town, and he would talk with a Scottish accent, and people would literally think that he was Scottish. So, and I think it's probably the hardest accent to pull off for an American actor. And I think it's one of those accents where once you got it, you got it. But up until that point, it's like a nightmare to try to figure out. Like I couldn't even. I could try to do a British accent all day, but a Scottish accent, I would trip all over myself. Like Wolfman, is it hard for you to do an American accent? Like, is that super hard? Because you're on the other end of that spectrum. Riley, how many times do you think you'll see the film? I might see it twice this weekend. Because I'm seeing it tomorrow night, and I might see it Saturday before my spoiler review. To get another good viewing in there. And plus, it's freaking Halloween, so... this is an exciting fall for movie fans. Yeah, definitely. I mean, we got Suspiria coming up. And speaking of Suspiria, let me just tell you guys this. I freaking got a copyright strike recently. Me and two other pretty well-known horror YouTubers. I won't say their names just in case they don't want me to, but we all three got copyright strikes because of the Suspiria trailer, the new Suspiria trailer. And I gave it a glowing review, But, it's just one of those things that sometimes happens, I guess, with major studios. For no apparent reason. It's just a weird practice. And so I'm literally fighting that right now. If I don't win, it'll still be removed in 3 months, but I didn't deserve that at all. It's stupid. So, yeah. Amanda Block, thank you so much. If you could redo Halloween 5, what direction would you take it in? I think Halloween 5 was tough for a couple of reasons. One, they really rushed it. They should have given it a good 2 years, at least, so that way they could really work on the story. And then you had this amazing ending to 4. So where do you go from that? You don't make Jamie the killer. So that's the problem. I think you have sometimes when you have like the greatest endings ever, they really screw you from a writing standpoint for the sequel. So I think you would still want Myers to be the killer, but obviously I wouldn't want to kill Rachel off. The direction I would have went with it was I would have had Rachel live to the end and then die at the end, saving Jamie. I think that's the way it should have went, instead of Tina. But really, Tina's filling that role in this. But, maybe they just wanted extra characters in there. And so that's why they gave Tina the part that she had. Wendy Kaplan was pretty much just, creating a character that was on the page. And I think she wanted to do the best she could with the character. And I think when you're an actor, you're inside yourself, so you don't really see what you're putting out there. And I'm sure that she didn't think she was as annoying as some thought she was until after the movie came out. She thought probably, hey, you know what? I got to do something with this character. I got to make her memorable. So, and sometimes it backfires. Some people like Tina, but, I don't hate her. I mean, I used to hate her, but I don't hate her as much anymore. She doesn't make me hate Halloween 5. It's other things that make me hate Halloween 5 so much. She does have annoying parts. But, I would have definitely toned down Tina a bit. But, without thinking hard on it, because 5 does have some good things in place. That third act is great, actually. It's just that first 2/3, I would have definitely... I fine-tuned that script a little bit, changed things around a little bit. But I still, as bad as it is, I still have a decent time with 5. And I know some people that they love 5. So it's a weird movie. It's the house looks completely different than the rest of the movies. It's a unique film for sure. I hope that answers your question. So I'm gonna do a couple more questions here, and then I'm gonna hang it up for the night. Get a good night's rest for tomorrow, guys, because tomorrow's the big day, right? I'm excited. Give me one more question for the new movie. All right, give me something that you if you haven't seen the movie, give me one more question about the new movie, and we'll make that one the last one. Amanda Block says, I actually love Tina. I get why people would be annoyed with her, but I love how different she is from normal slasher girls. Yeah, I agree with that. Toning her down wouldn't have... Yeah, I mean, it's at least she's memorable. She is definitely memorable. And to me, that's a good thing. Do you think the Halloween franchise has the most fake fans? I know a lot of people who say they like Michael Myers, but have never even seen the movies. Yeah, that's a weird one. I've never ran into anybody like that, you know. Usually if they're a Halloween fanatic, I can tell it, and they can pretty much recite verse and scripture, you know, for every movie. And I don't think that just goes with the Halloween franchise. I think that you're going to get that with Friday, you're going to get that with Nightmare, but I don't know. I guess I haven't come across too many fake fans. I wish I had a better answer, but yeah, I can't think of like any fake fans that I've come across. I got a super chat here. Not Halloween related, but do you think Joaquin Phoenix would be a good Freddy? Ooh, yes. Yeah, I think Joaquin Phoenix would be a very interesting character to play that role. Good. That was a good question, actually. I could totally see Joaquin Phoenix doing it. The only problem with that, though, is that everybody knows it's Joaquin Phoenix. You know, and you know, he's playing the Joker, but I think with Freddy, you do want somebody that's, you know, an unknown, like Robert Englund was when he got the part. So, it's funny to me that they originally wanted Freddy to be played by, you know, they wanted Freddy to be pretty much like a mute type of character when they first did it, from what I hear. If I remember correctly from watching the behind the scenes on it. Freddy was just this character that walked into like this. There's like a screen test or something of him like walking into like a fog thing, kind of like Myers, I guess. And then he doesn't really talk that much at all. And so then and what it was I think Robert Englund wanted a little bit too much money, and so they didn't go with him, and they went with just a guy who couldn't act. And then they realized we need a guy that can act, so they brought Englund back. And then, even though the first movie, England's got only a few lines, I don't think people realize that. Hollister Jinx. Is he saying Ben Tramer? I think he is. Ben Tramer. Now there's a side character. That's a spinoff for you right there. Give me a Ben Tramer character. Would you guys like a Halloween shared universe where like Season of the Witch exists in that shared universe? And so then in the shared universe, you could have your Myers movies over here, and then you could have your Halloween 3 and all those other Haddonfield, even though Haddonfield's not in Halloween 3, but you get what I'm saying. Like the anthology movies and the Myers movies could coexist in the same universe. And I think back then they never had these types of movies, but now after, you know, Avengers and all that stuff, anything's possible. So to me, I think that could be interesting. You know, you get a good group of you know, directors, writers, say, hey, we're going to put you in charge of this anthology story, and then these guys over here, they're going to carry forward the Myers story, and you know, maybe you guys get together and kind of weave your stories in and out a little bit. I think that would be pretty interesting, actually. I would do it. Yeah, I would watch it. Yeah. Tyler Yokele, as far as Easter eggs, I know that they've, from what I've heard, that not from what I've heard from people that have seen the movie, but from what I've heard behind the scenes, you know, months and months ago, was that there were a lot of Easter eggs. And hell, they're in the trailer. So I think this movie's going to be loaded with some cool Easter eggs. Nice that Jeremy and Chris stop and have a channel, and may many people watch them here. Man, we are the Drumdums, and we don't mess with anyone's expectations just to get some clicks. Okay, let's see. Yes, the Seasons of the Witch masks are in the trailer. Okay, here we go. One more question, one more topic, and then I'm going to hang it up. what's the most important thing for you to appreciate this new movie, and what would ruin this movie for you? Okay, well, the thing that I appreciate the most about it is that I can tell that they're taking this very seriously. You know, they want to put out a great movie. I've seen that from pretty early on. I could tell that, hey, this is important. They want this to be good. That's the thing I appreciate the most about this. And what would piss me off the most? I mean, obviously, elephant in the room, it's going to be, if it's the ending that I don't want, then that would piss me off. And I don't even want to say that, because then I don't want to feed into the chat. And if anybody's seen the movie, then they might react to what I say. And I don't want to, I don't want to. But let's just say the one thing that could piss me off is the ending, if it's not handled right for me. I'm trying to think of something else that I would dislike about the movie. Just not too much comedy. I've heard there's a little comedy in the movie, but I hope they don't go too far with it. Keep it serious. I love my Halloween movies nice and serious. Like Halloween 4, very little comedy whatsoever, and that worked for me. So I think that's what I want. One thing that I don't want is like I like Jamie Lee, but I'm not like completely on the Jamie Lee train like a lot of people are. She is a big part of what's putting butts in the seats. I get that. But I don't want this to be the Jamie Lee show. I want this to be the Michael show. Okay? That's my big thing. So, I'm going to leave you with that. But guys, I really appreciate you guys stopping by. I never expected to have, this many people watching me talk about Halloween, but it was a blast just sitting here chatting it up with you guys. And I am so looking forward to this movie tomorrow night. And, I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys get there, get your seats, get your popcorn, get your drink. You guys that are seeing Myers on this big screen for the first time, I really want you to just get out of it what I get out of it, what other people get out of it when you see, I hope you get those feels like a lot of us do, because it is such a cool thing to see a good Halloween movie on the big screen, and especially if you're like not the biggest Halloween fan, you're a fan, but you're not like obsessed with the franchise. That would be even better if you go into this thing and it makes you a Halloween fan, or even better yet, like it did me, a Halloween fanatic. That would be freaking awesome. I would love to see that. And I've talked to a few people in the past too that said, just this, since this movie came out, they became Halloween fans and fanatics. Like before the announcement of this movie, they were just casual fans, or they didn't even care. And then this movie just, it gained so much interest about this franchise, and people were going back. I mean, hell, like I can even mention like Nightmare Maven. She went back and watched the franchise for the first time because she hadn't seen all the movies, and she ended up being like a huge fan of it. And I think she even said like Myers might be her favorite killer now, and she's like a big Scream junkie. And, same with like Zach from Cavern of Terror. He is like a 90s Scream junkie, loves all that stuff. Didn't really take he liked H2O because it was in the 90s. But he reviewed the series and he watched like 4, 5, and 6, and he found himself just like getting completely invested and interested in the movie or in this franchise. And so that just, it tickles me pink. I get super excited when people get passionate about the franchise, See what I see what Wolfman sees. I don't know, there's just something about this franchise. It does grab people. It doesn't always grab them, but it does grab them, And when it grabs them, it doesn't let go. It does not let go. Once you're in for life. That's what's great about the Halloween franchise. And it's hard for me to leave you guys just because you guys are freaking awesome. Seriously. But yeah. So anyway, guys, like I said, I hope you guys go and have a great time with the movie. And I want to see your thoughts on the movie after. Let me know. I'll be putting up my review tomorrow night. I'm sure Wolfman will be putting up his review tomorrow night, or whatever time zone he's in for Scotland, for the UK. But yeah, I'm looking. Let me know in the comments. Let him know in the comments what you guys thought of it. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Have a great night, guys, and I will definitely see you on the flip side.